I know now what lives in Lightning Rock. Okay, no. This is not that video. It's not gonna come up, but I couldn't resist. And also because yesterday we are going to get a little bit out there. Why did you come so close to my face? Can we go back? Okay, thank you. Hello, my fellow hunters, and today it's time to, well, I guess we'll call it hopery. That was supposed to be hope and theory combined, and it just sounded like a nice smelling flower. Ooh, a bushel of hoperies. In any case, we have kind of gone over the big, diggable, little details, secrets, and their potential meanings in the Wilds trailer. But there is plenty of room for, wouldn't it be cool if, while still retaining just a little bit of, and it might happen because, so with that in mind, wouldn't it be cool if Wilds actually did have not just a big ancient civilization theme, but presence too? And it might happen because, well, the rest of this video. So, last time I talked about the lightning and the secrets to be found in it, the lightning rods across the world of Wilds, and they very clearly are put there. They are man or Wyverian or, sentient creature made. They exist clearly to help contain the thunderstorms that regularly roll in and out, flashes of turbulence disappearing as suddenly as they arrived. And when lightning is striking your rods, it's not striking your bods, which is, a good thing that sounded so much better in my head. In any case, this leads to all sorts of possibilities, because if we assume that A, this is set in the New World, which we do because we have the scout flies, we have the slinger, we have the map of the New World and the big landmass to the right that is unexplored, the same font as Monster Hunter World, the fact that it makes sense to sort of directly, spiritually continue the most successful game in the franchise, yada yada. The evidence for it being New World set is overwhelming. So, presumably we are discovering this place, right? It is Wilds, it's open, we have our tent equipment, camping equipment on our mount, whether that's going to be mechanical or flavorful. It is indicative of a harsh, uninhabited land that we are conquering in the name of the Commission. But we have found very quickly that there exist structures in place that someone or something has put there. And of course, whenever we find ruins, or old construction, or even ancient technology, well then, the ancient civilization comes to mind. But I do think there might be potentially another answer. You see, the ancient civilization isn't kind of a single thing. It's more of an umbrella term because there is many ancient civilizations in Monster Hunter. There are ones that are just literally ancient people that had their buildings that are now ruins and they got along, and then there is the ancient civilization that you think of when I say it, that invented the charge blade, that invented the switch axe, and we only know about them and can use them through reverse engineering artifacts of them that we have discovered. In fact, a whole archaeological presence in Monster Hunter is something I would adore, and Wilds is kind of maybe perhaps the perfect staging ground for it, actually discovering things hidden in the land as we go along, unearthing them maybe perhaps literally, and that contributing to the research effort. Yeah, that's certainly something that I would maybe perhaps love to expand on more, with many thoughts that I am now flooding with, but I need to force myself to stay on topic somewhat. So, the ancient civilization that built the tower out of Krishalador, that created this horrifying sky corridor of monster guards and deadly traps in Frontier, which is something we will actually sort of return to later on in this, but them, perhaps it is them, because surely them is all who would have the kind of know-how to both create and position massive lightning rods, unless perchance there is a hidden option C. A longer while back, I talked about the Tale of the Five, the creation myth. You can read it in your room in Monster Hunter World, telling of how the Monster Hunter world came to be, the 5 dragons that became all we know. It started with a people, and those people were like, hey, can we stop having nothing and start having something? And the dragons were like, sure, our bodies are now everything. And it's a little bit more nuanced than that, but that is the long and short of it. And these people, once everything was created, growing out that the epicenter was the new world, this ancestral land, uninhabited now and wild, but this original people, they sailed away and used scales of the dragon bought back by one of their youths to create the old world that every other Monster Hunter has been set in. But there's not a necessary, requirement that every single one of these original people set out and left the new world. The Tale of the Five has retained knowledge, has retained recording since supposedly the creation of everything. That is quite impressive that it's not been lost to history. So it definitely has some significance to it, some meaning within the lore of Monster Hunter. So what if perhaps, perchance, the original people that actually encountered and communicated with these dragons, there is still a faction of them, descendants, a tribe of them, a group of them living in, the new world, and we just simply didn't discover them. We know the Wyverians, the ancient Wyverians are still there. They talk to us about Namiel and the song in Iceborne. We got one's help about Zora Magdaros in Base World, and he had us conquer the Apexes as proof of our strength. So maybe it's actually them. Maybe the ancient Wyverians have a settlement dating back to Tale of the Five creation myth origin times, and they live properly in the wild section of the map to the right of everything that we know, actually discovering people that already exist here. And they can tell you what's going on with the lightning. Maybe they have the problem, the issue that we're going to try and solve. Maybe that's the answer to a permanent hub town in Wilds. It's not one that we build like a Stera or a Celiana, or that we construct as a base for research. Maybe it's one we accidentally discover, and it is primarily inhabited by either ancient Wyverians, descendants from the Tale of the Five people, or something else entirely, but they have this initial knowledge to share on this land, and it is them that we help with our hunting and discover everything for the commission alongside. That would be incredible, and I don't think is insanely outside of the realms of possibility. Especially if you do tie them to, maybe not the ancient civilization, but a ancient civilization. We know that Frontier is very much on the cards now, and Frontier, with its long life, ended up delving into the ancient civilization. It explored it a lot. It even had NPCs supposedly from the ancient civilization. There was a scrapped one that was going to be actually, literally a living remnant of those people ancient at the top of the Sky Corridor, but it never actually happened. The point is, though, with Frontier devs now on the team, with it shut down, with things being taken, as we've seen in Sunbreak, as we've seen mechanically even with followers, there is every chance that we now get a little bit kooky on that side of things, and the idea of discovering a whole people and an ancient way of life long forgotten, I think is perfectly in keeping with the themes that supposedly Wilds is conveying. This land conquering, this foraying out, and seeing what there is to see, to making our way in this strange hostile place, this next frontier. Hey, and I think that's quite exciting. I really, bottom line, hope to discover who, why, when, and what those lightning rods relate to and how they were put there. That, I think, is going to be important, and I just think you can't have an entire open world, as we assume it will be, map without something sentient people discoverable. Even if it is ruins, even if it's just a couple of them wandering about all the way to a full actual town, I feel like there has to be something along those lines. People that have been living here. And with that in mind, those people will likely have ways of dealing with not just the environment, the weather, the lightning, but the local monsters too, the local flora and fauna. And in that sense, they might provide one of two things. Either A, the kind of gimmick mechanic that affects all the weapons in Wilds, like the Clutch Claw in Iceborne, like the Silk Binds in Rise and Sunbreak, or B, they might provide a new weapon, their own signature hunting method. That would be a lovely way to tie it in and to narratively weave it into the opening of the game, where perhaps discovering them is the first big story beat. And given that the ancient civilization and civilizations is why we have a lot of the new weapons, like Switch Axe, like Charge Blade, having a sort of preserved ancient method of hunting reignited and brought back to the Monster Hunter world is a really nice way to do that and tie it in. And I think it would be rather poetic to do so. Have another weapon, maybe it doesn't necessarily need to be a transforming one, but another long-lost weapon we can reverse engineer and start crafting. Actually have the discovery. Like, we don't start the game with a new weapon, maybe they don't even advertise it, but we quite literally discover and reverse engineer thanks to either ourselves finding it or the help of a group of people we have bumped into, and suddenly, oh my god, here it is. That would be such a cool moment, and one I ideally do hope happens. So that's kind of where I'm at with this, a sort of, at least in my mind, a good idea for a general flow, at least to the opening of the game when it comes to those lightning rods and people we might find in this land. I would love to know what you think, of course, and your own theories on it, because, of course, I accept that, yeah, here we are in the land of but that's a goddamn fun land to be in until we know more. Like if you enjoyed this, subscribe and hit the bell for more. Consider supporting the future of the channel on Patreon down below. And until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.